So today we have an exciting package in the garage here from MTM Hydro. Now, we've actually had this for quite a few months now, and it's just been finding the time to actually get it set up. You've had this on the shelf in your garage, and you've just been looking at it, admiring for the last little while.
I have, well, yeah, I have been looking at it, but I've also opened it. I've used it a couple of times, and I've kept the packaging, but you can tell I've already opened it and used it a little bit. Still looks very nice, pristine. I didn't want to use it too much because I wanted to make a real good video on this stuff, and yeah, a few delays based on this. It took a long time for it to arrive.
It did.
A couple of shipping delays, and then it sat for us, so also we're part to blame here. But I'm really excited to make this video so I can get on and use it because this is really cool stuff.
Well, I mean, we had to open this out of necessity here, right? So for those of you who don't know, what we've got in front of us here is a couple of products from the MTM Aquiline range. So these are the really high-end overkill for car washing, guns and wands. We've got a nozzle here too. But we had to break into this right out of necessity because pressure washers come with absolutely junk accessories.
Yep, they usually
broke mid-wash.
And so I had to break into this because I had to attach this onto the end. Because what happened is my, what did happen?
The nozzle purginator, the Mech Pro.
The Mech Pro purginator, the nozzle broke off it.
It did. So this
it didn't spray out. So I had to plug that in with some weird connections to fit on because, you know, if you buy a pressure washer, it comes with their own sort of special gun, which means they have their own weird connections on there. So I had to jimmy this up with the purginator Mech Pro gun to jimmy this onto there so that I could then spray. And we also have the nozzle here.
We do. So what we've been using today, other than the standard accessories that come with like the Karcher or the Mech Pro that we've been using, is this. So this is the SGS28 gun. And
you're leaking all over the place.
I am leaking, I'm sorry about that. I thought I emptied that out. But this gun and wand, it's got your quick disconnect on here. We've been using this in conjunction with a 40-degree MTM nozzle. And basically this has just been our wash setup. 3 years now, this has been going strong. And the great thing about this is it introduced us to quick disconnects. So we can go to short gun, we can then go and attach a nozzle on there, like so, and we can also use it with a foam cannon. And most of the time I'm washing like this, or with a foam cannon, rather than needing to use this wand, which we rely on generally when we're washing bigger vehicles and need to get over the top of a roof. So what we've got in front of us here that we're going to crack into first is the PF22.2. Now, we've made a video on this in the past. It is the best foam cannon that we have used that is currently on the market. It's been a staple for a few years now. The design hasn't changed.
And it comes with quick disconnects, and that's the whole point of this, is having everything on a quick disconnect means you can break it down, you can build it up, you can swap attachments in and out. And if you haven't got that kind of system, then you need to buy a foam cannon that has the right attachment for your gun, and that is real frustrating. I went on to AliExpress once to try and find them for the Mech Pro. I bought like 3 in one go to try and guess which kind of attachments I needed, and I got lucky, but you're probably going to struggle to use an MTM foam cannon if you're using your regular gun, unless you can find an adapter.
Well, the thing is, right, so we've got a PF22.2 right here. What you end up with some of those weird, you know, things that you make up is that you end up with a foam cannon like way out here. So you're shooting your car like this, versus the beauty about this system here with the quick disconnects is that you simply take your wand off and then you are using the system like this.
It's ergonomically fitting, it feels nicer, it looks a bit cooler too.
Yeah, it doesn't look as odd as that, you know. I mean, sure enough, we could attach this, quick disconnect this onto the end here, but
does look a bit dorky, doesn't it?
I don't know, like I could probably do this from inside the house, you know. So,
yeah. So the first step is really getting our foam cannon. It comes assembled, it already comes with the 1.25 orifice in there. We need to change that. The reason why we need to change that is because we're using the Karcher K5. The Karcher K5 puts out roughly 1.2 to 1.4 GPM, which is their flow rate, at roughly 2000 PSI. And so we need to change that from a 1.25 orifice to a 1.1. It's because we'll get better foam and stuff like that. It does say on the box here in real small writing somewhere, right here on this side here, 1.25 is already pre-installed.
Yeah, so we're going to swap that out for the 1.1.
1.1, yep, because of the pressure washer we're using. So this is how your foam cannon will come. You've got the head of the tool here, which has got all your adjustments, and the foam's going to come out of here. Pickup tube, bottle. What I really like about this bottle design is that it's got a wider base, so actually when you've got your soap all filled up in here, that there will stand up, which is really nice. There's nothing worse than my other foam cannon that I have. You get it all set up and then you're trying to balance it and it just doesn't work. That's really nice. The cap's quite cool too, so if you've got, you know, you've got your soap in here mixed with some water, you can then mix it up, which is actually quite a nice little feature that they add there.
Cap is a newer feature as well. That's new, yeah. The original.
No, it didn't.
Because it's come on the last two PF22.2s that we've had in the last 6 months.
And in the little plastic bag is the Orifice difference here. So this has already got the 1.25 installed, but this is the 1.1, which is what we need to install now.
So if you're purchasing this and the 1.25 millimeter Orifice is the one that you need in there, you're pretty much ready to go. You just need to attach that tube into the top of the foam cannon, fill it with product, and you're ready to start washing.
So you undo this part. And inside there you can see a thing that looks like it's got a Phillips head on it with a small hole in it. That's the 1.25 Orifice that we need to take out. So you can also tell here that the 1.25 millimeter is definitely going to be bigger than the 1.1 millimeter. You can look through the hole there. The smaller one, 1.1 millimeter, is the one that we need to install into this foam cannon here. So if you are unsure about what sort of orifice size you need, MTM have already worked it out for you. You go onto the website, type in how much PSI your pressure washer has, how much gallons per minute it's putting out, and that will tell you which orifice size you need. So good on MTM for sorting that out for you.
And there's three options, 1.1, 1.25 included in the kit, but you can also buy a 1.5 millimeter orifice if that's what it suggests as well from MTM.
Okay, so how's the foam generate? Well, we have water coming in this side that gets forced through the little orifice that we just changed, and that's what creates the pressure. We have our soap and water that gets mixed up into here. It gets picked up through the pickup tube, and inside here is this mesh aerator. Pressurized water and the soap gets forced through the aerator, and that's what generates that nice thick foam that we see coming out of the foam cannon. On the top here we have a valve. That's what adjusts the amount of air being mixed into here, so we can have really runny foam, or we can have really nice thick foam. So you just adjust that. And on the very end of the tool here we have our fan adjustment. We can either have it very wide or we can have it very narrow and direct, depending on your preference there. So why do you want to use a foam cannon? Well, it helps to get the soap onto your paint. Now that gives really nice coverage. It allows a lot of dwell time so that it can start to break down the dirt and grime off the surface of your vehicle. It might start to pull some of that down. And it also creates lubrication so that when you then come in to use your mechanical wash with your wash mitt, it creates a little bit of lubrosity to the paint because you don't want to be rubbing that mitt round dry. Okay, so now it comes time to talk about the gun and the wand setup that we have here. So this is the Aquiline range, which is perfect because it meets the OSHA and FTA regulation, so that's food safe. So if you're working in things like a butcher's shop or a supermarket or anywhere where you are cleaning food, these meet those regulations for food safety. So if that's really important, then this is the perfect line for you. In terms of detailing, this is completely overkill, but we like using the best kind of stuff because that's our passion. So we have the SGS35 gun here. This gun is rated for 5,000 PSI. Again, is completely overkill for detailing. We typically use around 1,000 PSI, but you know, if you were using a big petrol pressure washer, that might be important for you. This gun is also safe for 160 degrees, so if you're using warm water in those situations, we're not in detailing because Glenn hasn't installed warm water into this place, but that's
160 degrees Celsius, so 320 Fahrenheit.
Correct. So if you wanted to use hot water, you're more than welcome to do it with this. Stainless steel swivel. This is really important. So now when you've got your hose attached into here, what can happen is as you're moving around the car or you're moving around your facility, what can happen is the hose can get kinked. So this will keep it unraveled as you work around the vehicle. Now, my one at home, I don't have this, and let me tell you, it's so frustrating. You go to move around the side of the car and the hose is all bound up, and then you've got to walk it out. So I really like this feature, and that's super important to be in the handle of this tool here. We do have a lock function here, so we can lock the handle in place so that we can't accidentally spray water. I suppose it's not so important in detailing, but maybe if you're working in a commercial setting, it might be. This is all wrapped in a nice blue casing which is shock proof, so if you do drop this gun, it will prevent it from causing any damage inside the tool here. Again, it's got a brass valve in the inside which is supposed to stop corrosion, so you know it won't break down over time. And then we do have a stainless steel quick disconnect which will help us build up our gun or take it apart. So I really like this. The ergonomics of this is nice. It is quite bulky, it is heavy, but you can tell it's made of good quality materials. So here we have the MTM Aquiline. This is a 20-inch lance. It's got a slight bend on the end here, and this is made out of 3116 stainless steel. It comes again with the Aqualine blue, and it's got this casing around the inside. Now that's really important because if you were shooting through hot water here, this lance could get quite hot. It's vented. You can see there's vents there to help release some of that temperature, so that when you've got your hand on here, you know you're doing sort of these type of ones, it would prevent this from getting hot to your hand. It's rated for 4,000 psi and 160 degrees as well, so plenty enough for our detailing. So while you can use the gun by itself with a nozzle for rinsing off the vehicle, this lance just helps you get to roofs or hard to reach areas. With that bend there, it also helps to give you a little bit more sort of perpendicular cleaning to help remove that dirt and grime off your vehicle. So just a little bit more of an ergonomic feature here. And so the last thing we have here is the MTM Aquiline nozzle tip. So this is a 40-degree fan, so it'll push water out at 40 degrees, and it's a 4.0 nozzle. Now, because we have roughly 1.2 to 1.4 GPM at 2000 psi for our pressure washer, we probably want a 3.0 tip, but this will be fine. Now, what's really cool about this, 3116 stainless steel, quick disconnect, but it's got this rubber end to it. So it's quite pliable. And why that is really important in the detailing world is that when you come up close to your paint work or anything like that, if you accidentally bump it on here, this will give you a little bit of protection, a little bit of security that you might not damage the paint. Obviously smashing it in there, it probably will, but just a little bit of security around that. What we have been using is, again, another 40-degree MTM product, another 40-degree MTM nozzle here, but you can see it doesn't have any of that nice soft rubber coating around the outside. So if we do smash it up against the paint, cause a bit more damage, whereas this one here, a little bit more safety and a little bit more security over that, so that's really nice. So why the disconnects are all really important is so that we can build our gun up, we can take it apart, and we can move some combinations around. So the gun with our lance, and we can then put the tip on the end of that. So if we were cleaning roofs or we wanted to clean at more of a longer distance, we have that type of setup. We can then break this all down, and maybe we were cleaning wheels or we were cleaning sides of panels, or we wanted to get in and around arches, we could then have the short gun set up. So we have our short set up like that, and that gives us a little bit more freedom if we want to get around, you know, inside arches of the cars or inside your barrels of your wheels, things like that. And then we can attach our foam cannon on there. So I really like the disc with the quick disconnects. It makes this super easy. Interchangeable is really, really cool. Alright, so now that this video is made and filmed, I'm really happy to be able to use these products because the fit and finish of these are really good. I really like using them. They feel really nice to work with, and they're just made from really good quality materials. So thanks to MTM for sending us these products. We're really happy to work with you on this project, and hopefully you guys enjoy the video. So that's it from Omni Garage. Subscribe to the channel so that you get notified when we're releasing more videos, because we have quite a few videos on us using the foam cannon, a couple of different setups, and us using this in the detailing setting. So if you're interested in those videos, go and check them out. But that's it from Omni Garage. Thank you for watching.